I think if you ask any autism parent, what is the one thing that you want for your child, they'll say it's a friend. And because it is such a socially isolating condition. I think any family who's kind of got a kid who's autistic thinks there has not been a time when they haven't thought twice about taking that child to a mall or a birthday party or a wedding or something like that, because they just wonder what that child is going to do. It's very, very hard because your heart is breaking for your child when they are not accepted by their peers. And the only thing you want for them is a friend. I remember this one incident very clearly. We had gone to a friend's child's birthday party. We had gone, taken his tray with the dosa and idli and whatever. And there was this group of boys and they were sitting on this table. And he very sweetly went over there and he said, and I was watching this, from the corner of my eye, and he went over there and he said, can I sit down? Or something like that. And that boy said, no, you can't, get lost. And I just went to pieces. He went and he took his plate and he sat down somewhere else and he continued to eat his dosa and idli like nothing happened. But I had to leave that party because I was in tears, and I just left and I stood outside for 15 minutes just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, because it's a very small incident, but he was being rejected. And for me, it was even worse than any kind of rejection that I have faced, to just have your child go and very sweetly go to this group and say, can I just sit here, and be told, get lost. It was horrible. It was just absolutely heartbreaking. I remember another incident where he was part of, there was this one coach and all the kids were, going to the coach, and they had some athletics class or something like that. And I said, my son, I want my son to join, and I just want to tell you that, he has autism. And so he said, first question was, what does that mean? So I said, okay. I said, he has special needs. He may not communicate and may not be able to tell you, but he's very smart. He understands everything. He'll follow instructions. He'll do what you tell him, everything. And the coach said, okay. He was very hesitant. I could make out from his face. And he said, okay, let's try it out. And then at the end of the class, he said, madam, we cannot keep your son in our class. He doesn't follow instructions. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. And just to have that coach just tell me that, and to have to be able to listen to that coach. I think if I was in that position now, I would tell the coach, I'm sorry, you have to give it a shot and you better do this and keep my kid there. But I was not empowered then. I was really so fragile. Anybody would say something to me and I would burst into tears. And so I said, okay, fine. And I just took him away. And it was so heartbreaking. It was so heartbreaking to be able to do that. I'm really happy to say that since then, I've tried and tried and tried, to push for social opportunities. I would hate to have play dates, because any kid who would come home, after some time, the kid would be playing with Gayatri and Veer would be sitting in one corner. And I would just say, Gaya, please help, involve him. And she said, Mama, but he doesn't want to play with us. What can we do? And I would feel so horrible. So I would stop calling kids home, because even though it was something which therapists told us to do at that time, that you should have play dates so that he can socialize, it was just too hard to watch him being isolated, and it was very, very hard. And it was slowly I would sometimes say, should we leave him at home, should we take him out? And I'd say, no, have to expose him to things, have to take him out. So even if he would sit in a corner, it would be okay. I remember this one time we had gone for my cousin's son's wedding, and it was a Sangeet, and Veer loves a party. He loves dancing, but it was too much for him and I could make out. So we sat outside in the corridor on the steps for half an hour, and we just sat there, and I just held his hand and we just sat there. And then Mohit came over and took over and sat and with him for the next half an hour till he got himself together. And then we went back into the party and he danced. But we had to do these things, and it's very hard being a parent who has to miss the party and sit outside with your child while everybody else is kind of dancing and having fun. I think even for me as a mom, it was really hard, because when I was with Gayatri's friends, mothers, I was the parent of a neurotypical kid, and it was like, we could discuss things like art classes and stuff like that. And then when I was with Veer's classmates, mothers, all we were discussing was therapy and diets and vitamin C therapy and this and that, and who's the latest and the best speech therapist in town. And so it was very, very difficult. And honestly, I think Veer is 18 and a half now. He entered a fantastic program last year when he was 17, where he's learning employability skills. I think that is when I came up for air. When he was 17 years old, after 17 years of being a mother, I could take a little bit of a step back and really kind of breathe and be able to not constantly be in a state of worry. My friends tell me, they say, you have no idea how much you've changed, because every time I would every time I would go out with them, I'd say, I have to rush home, because even Veer may be in school, but I had that worry at the back of my mind and that guilt that, I'm not at home. I need to be at home with the kids. Somehow fathers never have that. There is no such thing as father's guilt. Mothers only get lumped with this stupid mother's guilt. But it was really hard. I would not be able to, I think, fully be a friend to my friends, because I was constantly having to worry about my children, not having to worry, but I was constantly worried about my kids, about Veer. Will he be okay? Is everything going to be fine? I would get very defensive. I would get really, I would, defensive in a way that I would make my own defense mechanism, where if somebody tried to reach out to him and kind of involve him, I would say, no, these kids are not good enough. Forget it. They're not going to play. Because after some time, he would not be able to interact with them. I would, in my mind, cancel those people out. It would be like full cancel culture, that these people are not good because they don't kind of, interact with Veer or something like that. I would not think that, okay, I need to make him be able to understand so that he can interact. Yes, I would say these people are bad. I would just completely cancel them out. So it was very hard for me. I kind of isolated myself a lot as well. And it was very hard to be able to constantly carry that anger. Of course, there's that, nobody talks about it, but there is that jealousy when you look at other people's lives. My friends were going about their lives, they were partying, they were going on holidays, they were, they would go to brunch at 12 o'clock and come home at 6 o'clock. Here I would be at 3:30 saying, come on, let's go home. I have to be home for the kids. Why? Because I just have to be home. So those kind of things, where I would put these limitations on myself. But because I think mentally I was just not able to relax. And so really it's been after 17 years that I've reached a place in my life where I'm able to do things for myself. I can take a step back. I can enjoy my time by myself, and I'm really so grateful and so happy that Veer has found a peer group. He goes and travels independently by cab. He goes for movies. He is going to see Barbie day after tomorrow with his friends. He goes to music concerts. He goes to restaurants, orders independently. Starbucks is his favorite. I don't know why. Goes out. He's loves dancing. He just had a rocking dance party on Saturday night with his friends. Came home at 1 o'clock in the morning. I never thought I'd see the day where my autistic teenager would come home at 1 o'clock with his friends after dancing the night away. And I am so grateful for that. And it's just such a wonderful feeling to see him completely happy, accepted in a space where he's got friends, where he just can be himself, and where they accept him as he is, who he is, and he's just having the time of his life.